Welcome to No Contingencies, a real estate live show with no filters, no BS, and no safety nets. This is episode 13 of our show.
It's episode 14, actually.
You know, I actually knew you were going to say that. It is episode 14 of our show, and we are now on the air. I'm Liz Ryan.
Parker Pemberton.
Hold on, we're going to see if my... Oh, I'm here. Nicholas Walpole. Hi.
And our guest today is a longtime mentor and consultant to Parker and me, and someone whose guidance we value tremendously. Emily Kettenberg is the founder of EHK Solutions and a trusted strategic advisor in the real estate industry. With more than 30 years of experience spanning sales, leadership, and brokerage operations, she now partners with leaders across the country to help them grow stronger businesses, develop their people, and build systems that truly scale. Emily, we're so grateful to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for aging me, but it's all good.
You're welcome.
I also want to mention you only take on 4 clients at a time. So,
Yes, exactly.
don't reach out.
Exactly.
Don't reach out. Oh my gosh. Okay, Emily, give us some intro about you. Where are you from? What'd you do before real estate?
Oh, before real estate. That was a long, long time ago. So I'm originally from New Jersey. Central New Jersey does exist. And I'm from a little tiny small town, population 2,000, between Princeton and where George Washington crossed the Delaware.
Love it.
I started my real estate career in my 20s, but before that, fun fact,
Yes.
I bought a luncheonette from my parents when I was 18 years old. So I like to say that I started working as soon as I was old enough to reach over the counter.
Yeah.
And then I ended up buying it when I was 18, when I was in college classes part-time, and running a luncheonette full-time. After about 5 to 7 years, I looked at my mom and said, there is no way I can do this for 30 years like you did. And that's when I ended up in real estate.
Okay, I got to pause you and talk about the luncheonette more.
Oh, of course.
Okay, how many seats in the luncheonette?
There was a counter, of course, like Norman Rockwell, right? So
Yeah.
Think Norman Rockwell. So Norman Rockwell counter, and I think there was maybe about 20 seats.
Okay.
And then there was some tables.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my parents had it for 30 years, and in the back room was pinball machines and a jukebox and all sorts of video
gosh.
games and fun things like that. And
Okay.
another fun fact is my husband actually used to come in that store when I was a kid. He's a couple years older than me. So he was one of the, as my mother refers to, hoodlums that hung out in the luncheonette.
One of those
So
hoodlums.
I remind myself every day that I married a hoodlum.
Yeah.
It's all good.
And I'm sure he appreciates that
I'm
reminder.
sure he appreciates that.
That sounds right. What was the special at the luncheonette? Like, what were you guys known for?
We just did breakfast and lunch. That was it, right?
Okay.
So New Jersey's, we're not that far from Trenton, New Jersey, and that was the birthplace of pork roll in 1817.
Oh my
So
gosh.
pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich on a hard roll is about as best as you can get in New Jersey at a luncheonette.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so luncheonette, and you decide, nope, not going to continue to do that for my full career. Why did real estate come up as the next thing?
Well, that was not by design. That was by default.
Okay.
So my father had been in real estate, like land development, and his father was actually one of the first 5 people to get a real estate license in the state of New Jersey.
Whoa.
So yeah, kind of crazy. And he came in the store one day, and at that point, my oldest son was like 2 years old, hanging on my leg. And he said to me, you know, someone in the family needs to be in real estate, and your mother and I decided it's you. So we signed you up for a class at the community college, and you start next week. And I remember looking at him and going, are you, insert a potty word,
Right.
kidding me? And he goes, no. And so off to real estate school I went, and I actually fell in love with it.
Really?
So then my first listing was selling my own business. So I started in commercial, I guess I could say, real estate.
Yes, you
Isn't
did.
that funny?
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
It's not like your parents making you go cut grass or something. You're going to real estate school.
Right.
Exactly. You're right. Absolutely.
Oh, I
The rest
love
is
that.
history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then tell us about your real estate career. Where did it start? And
So I
where'd you
started
end up?
with, the reason I love independent brokerages is because I started with a small independent brokerage. My first mentor was Doris Pessel, and she owned her own real estate company right down the street.
Yeah.
And so I started with her, and then I worked for a series of, she was acquired, and then I went to a different indie and so on and so forth. started a team when teams were not in vogue.
Yeah.
And then I went on to manage offices, turn around underperforming offices, 18 to 24 month period.
Yep.
And then I sort of finished that full-time real estate career with running a large real estate brokerage in 2 states, turning around a 100-year-old company.
Wow.
And having a lot of fun with that, rebranding and ripping it down and building it back up and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
absolutely.
retired from there.
Then I retired from there, and that lasted 3 days. And then after that 3-day period, the Tom Ferry Network called and said, we'd love to have a conversation with you about being a coach. And I think I answered them the same way I answered my dad when he said, are you getting your real estate license? And I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's great.
And so then I worked with them for 10 years.
Okay.
I had started the consulting company before being with them. And then when I retired from them, I thought, well, I'm kind of bored. I was 3 days into it, and
Right.
I own investment properties, and I'm like, checking to see if the toilets are flushing properly. And I was like, what is wrong with me here? I'm going to drive everybody in my family crazy.
Yeah.
So then that's when I said, let me just get back to this a little bit.
That's so 3 days is your threshold.
3 days is my threshold.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm retired twice, and let's see when third time might be a charm.
That's fantastic. Do you remember your first meeting or conversation with Parker and me?
I do.
Do you really?
Absolutely. Yes.
What were your first impressions of us?
Absolutely. And I think that our first conversation was on the phone versus via Zoom, if
You
I'm
think?
not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was on the phone versus via Zoom. And I loved I've always said about myself, sort of that drive, dedication, and grit has been a big part of, you're supposed to leave those on, Parker.
It's not working for me.
Has been a big part of sort of my life, right?
Yeah.
And that was the first impression. I was like, yes, they've got that drive, dedication, and grit, right? And also serving the agents to serve the community, right? So there's so many people that don't think, let me serve the agent serves the community. And that was the first impression I got. And those are the people I like hanging out with.
Yeah.
No, I think I remember the first time I was, I think 6 years in coaching, I think, right?
Yeah.
And Liz, you jumped on a couple years in where you started to, join every call. In the early days, it was Steve and I remember.
Yes, for sure.
And I've always been a fan of coaching because I grew up with just an athlete, right? Mm-hmm. So I always had swing coaches and mental coaches and fitness coaches. And I always just felt like nobody had the answers. Nobody is ever going to figure it out on their own at Coldwell Banker, where I started. And I need to go seek that out. I need to go find a bigger network of people, and I need to find more knowledgeable people than what I have access to right now. So the value of coaching to me was extraordinary from the beginning. But when I was introduced to you, I don't hold me to this, but they're like, you're going to meet with probably the best coach you've ever talked to, but she's a little spicy. She's Italian.
I would say sassy, but
she
go
has
ahead.
she has an accent, and your Minnesota nice style may not work with her. So keep an open mind, but understand that there are other options too. And I have this thing. I surround myself with really strong women. It's you look at our company now, right?
Yeah.
Almost the entire company is strong, independent leaders that are women. And I love the contrast, right? If I go hire somebody that's just like me, I'm not going to get the most out of it.
Right.
So I was like, all right, sassy, spicy, as long as she tells me how it is, like,
Shoot from the hip.
Yeah,
That pretty
yeah.
much is, yeah.
So
My
that's
whole
what
life's
I
been like
valued.
that. Yep, absolutely.
And what I really enjoy, I might get it a little too far ahead, so we can slow down. But
You're
what I
doing
really
fine.
enjoy is that you've actually been there, seen it. You've lived through all of the aspects of where we're trying to go. And so that is hugely valuable to me. And then you combine that with somebody that can call me out on my shit. I think everyone needs that.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
everyone
someone
wants
who
it,
can
but
make you their personal driver, because that's what you've been for me
yeah.
over the last 24 hours.
Which she didn't take. She didn't take advantage of the seat massagers in the IQ. But I've been doing this thing with her though. I pull up. She's at the Westin. Because we're not going to put you in a shit hotel, right? And I get out and I do the automatic door open. So she walks out of the automatic doors of the Westin, and my doors just automatically open for her. How
And
about
actually,
that?
the back door opens too. So I've been tempted to sit in the back seat, but I'm trying to be nice and sit in the front seat.
Well, I have
I laughed so hard.
I have Harrison's booster seat there, and there's a juice box in the cup holder.
Just for me.
Yeah, but come on, no, but that's how we ended up here, and I think we've been working with just friends, consultants, mentors,
Hanging out.
for
Yeah.
a few years now. Yeah,
I would. It's so interesting, Parker, that you say it that way because, for one thing, your quest to always find somebody who's been there or who has more knowledge, or I feel like you are always telling me, surely someone else has done this. Let's find that
Yes.
person and get some advice from them. Not that we're necessarily going to follow someone's exact blueprint, but just the idea of let's not reinvent the wheel every time. Let's talk to somebody. Let's find some people. You've always been good at that, and I love that.
Well, I believe in this line. It's success leaves clues, right? And history does repeat itself too. So if you have both of those things in play, you're going to be able to take parts or all and apply it to your local business. I like to say then we put our Pemberton twist on it.
Sure.
And we make it our own, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny you mentioned inventing the wheel, right? Because I've always said in my real estate career, at least, when I first started, I was like, look, this wheel was invented a long time ago. Why, as a solo agent starting out, do I feel like I'm reinventing a wheel, right? Because of the lack of support or whatever the situation was. So I've always just, when I started leading, I always said I'm never going to make agents feel like they have to reinvent a wheel.
Ooh, that's
and
great.
I think that, spending a little time hanging out with you guys in very cold Minnesota, talking with some of your agents, what I really appreciate that you're doing here is making sure that no agent feels like they have to reinvent a wheel. They can put their own spin on it. They all have their own personality. They all have their own dynamic, but they don't have to reinvent a wheel. And I think that's huge.
Well, and that comes back to our mission of what we're really trying to do here. And as lofty as it seems, or as just as oddly large as this might sound, is that we're trying to change real estate. Because I feel like there's a reason 80+% of agents fail in their first year, and there's a reason 90% or more fail within 2 years. It's because the brokerages are failing them. It's the system itself. And so the mission for us is to flip that on its head and allow 80 or 90% of agents to succeed and teach them exactly what they have to do to go on to that next level.
Correct.
But the cool thing now, we'll go ahead.
I think the reason you can do that so well is what one of you said about me, is having been in the trench, right? So if you didn't have the experience that you had when you first started, and you didn't have both feet in the trench, then you wouldn't have the empathy to then be able to say, I completely understand how you feel, but then not have the sympathy to be able to then hold them accountable, right? Because if you have the sympathy, you're not holding them accountable, and without that, with the empathy, it's making a big difference.
Yeah, and to us, holding a high standard at this company is necessary for success.
Correct.
And that doesn't work with all people.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. Yeah. But the way that I look at the business and my career in general is that if I go on 20, 30 years of being in business, I know Liz feels the same way. If we held a high standard the entire way and we challenge people to be better, that's going to improve the industry. It's going to improve the agent, and our company is going to be better because of it.
Correct.
So
you serve the agent serves the consumer, right? And that's the key, right? It's about making sure that you give them the ability and the tools that they need to then be able to serve the public.
Yeah. What are those main components of the wheel that you didn't want people to feel like they had to reinvent? Like what are the big chunks that you wanted to make sure, and you want us as leaders to make sure agents understand?
Well, I think that I've always said real estate's a relationship business built on trust, right?
Yeah.
The commodity happens to be a house.
Yeah.
So we're in the trust business. And I think that knowing how to serve the community, serve the people, being able to really listen to them, right? There's so many times that I hear agents pitch, right? I use the word pitch, sorry, but that's what Northeast, that's the word I use, where I'll hear them pitching someone, and I'm like, you've never asked what the consumer wants, right? So I think that's really important. I also think that leveraging technology is a beautiful thing, but still 25% of the business has to be their mouth, right? Yeah. My grandmother, I had a little Italian grandmother, taught me a lot of lessons. And one of my favorite ones is your mouth is an instrument. You need to know how to play it, right? So I think that making sure that they understand that it's about the consumer. It's not about them.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is their database. Like literally, it's crazy. As simple as that is, through the last 100 years of selling properties, right? We can't forget it's a people business, and so we need to make sure that we don't forget about those people. Yeah. Like, and their calendar. I mean, how many agents feel overwhelmed, right, or burn out? And I think that burnout comes from not being able to schedule, right? Mm-hmm. You mentioned, Parker, the percentage of agents that fail. And most people would say, well, that's because they shouldn't have gotten in the industry. And that's one piece of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone, and that's okay, right? Another piece of it is broker failure. I agree with you 100% on that one. I've said that for years. But the other thing is burnout, right? Because sometimes you have an agent come in and they're really successful. Obviously, we look at your per person productivity. Your agents are really successful. Yeah. And they get burnout because they were never given the tools to be able to say, okay, this is how you manage. This is how you navigate. This is how you. So it's basics plus layer in the ability now for them to have so much technology that's helping them. Right. It makes them be able to really be top producers and still serve the client. Yeah.
Yeah, and along with everything Emily just said, the backbone of what we do is we try to help everybody here become better personally, because we believe that they become better personally, then their business transforms as well.
1000%.
Your business development is directly in correlation to your personal development, and burnout comes from inefficiencies in your life, right? It comes from it comes from drinking too much. It comes from eating too much. It comes from wasting your time. It comes from allowing relationships that are wrong to continue in your life. All of the things that are human nature related, we try to address here. And like as the leader, I try to live that and show people. You can tell people, but you also have to show them. The interesting part is,
I think showing them is more important than telling them, right? So it's leading by example. Yes. You're not leading from a high rise and never seeing the people. You're with the people.
Yeah, you're leading from
every
the front.
day. Yeah. And the way that I look at that is, I truly I'm the most blessed person because I have this company of nearly 300 people that hold me accountable every day. Yeah. And I have a reason to show up every day.
Correct.
Not like when I wake up in the morning, it's Kathy and the boys, and then when I come to the office, it's my office family, it's the agents. And so for me to stay on track 7 days a week, 365 days a year is actually a privilege. It's not something that is challenging. And when I was able to make those adjustments in my life and grow up and become the person I am now, that showed up in our business, and then boom, all of a sudden.
And the key is you didn't lose sight of it, and I'm going to remind you to never lose sight of it. Yeah. Right? Because that is what makes you special. That's what makes really great leaders, is not losing sight of where it is that got them where they are. Yeah. And then where they're going to stay in a growth mindset. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I'll mention is I have some of the most talented people in the entire industry around me too.
But you allow yourself to be surrounded with that. You know how many leaders don't?
Right.
Yeah. It might be a superpower. Seeing the trait, and Liz calls it like extreme optimism, because I always see the best in the potential, right?
You do.
And then the other side of that is that we're not afraid to fail. So if we see the potential, we make the move. We go make the hire, or we make the change. And then if we fail, we say, all right, well,
what did I learn from it? I failed forward. As long as I'm failing, I'm fine failing every day, as long as I'm failing forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had that. You and I have had that specific conversation recently of like you asking, man, should we have not tried that? It didn't go the way we wanted. And like, no, that's it. That's absolutely going to happen. And that trait of yours, that willingness to see the potential and try something is, gosh, that I credit so much of our success with that one characteristic.
Correct. And that's a characteristic that you can really instill upon the agents, right? When you're talking about where their lead sources are, how they're building their businesses, right? Is to be able to, well, hey, try this. And if you don't like this, that's okay. We can replace this. I refer to lead sources as legs on a table, right, with agents. So you have a table, 4 legs. If you like to dance, you put 6 legs on it. You make sure that it's balanced. But if you don't like one of those lead sources, you can unscrew the leg. It's not welded to the table. Right. So being able to have that ability to be that way yourself and then convey that to the agents on on them building their businesses is really super critical.
Well, yeah, as to lead sources as well as just to people in general. I
Yes.
think that your willingness to take a chance on people or to see a potential in people as agents or as staff members translates so well to agents' willingness to see potential in clients.
Correct.
And say, I don't on paper you don't seem like a buyer who's going to have a lot of buying power here, or maybe it doesn't seem like we're going to work out, but I have this little glimmer of something that I connect with in you, and therefore I'm going to take a chance on you, and we're going to see what we can do with this. I think that's part of the reason you got as far in the sales success as you did, and then that translated
And let's
really
have
well.
a conversation, right? So
Yeah.
being willing to have that conversation to one of my mentors always used to say to me, peel back the onion,
Yeah.
right? So peel back the layers of the onion to determine what it is that's inside. So whether that's peeling back the layers of the onion for the agent or whether it's the agent with the consumer,
Right.
it's the same onion you're peeling back.
It is.
Can I jump in?
But,
on
but I do.
real quick?
Hello. Why hello? I forgot.
If I was wearing my
Hold
headphones,
on, Parker, hold on. You hear.
If I was wearing my headphones, I would know that he was talking.
I know.
He just said,
put
could
him
he
back on
jump
just to
in?
hear.
No, could he jump in?
Liz, you and I had this conversation about the staff.
Yeah.
And one of the I would say the geniuses of the building of this company, because the staff is a wonderful group of people who are absolutely committed to the agents, but also to themselves. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. But from my observance, you pick people who you believe have a specific skill set and you say, go and do that bit to the best of your ability, and you have freedom and we trust you, go and do it. And some of the faults that you may have, that's fine. Like we're not employing you to do that. Do the thing you do best to the best of your ability. And that mix of people all empowered to do that is really awesome. Because I can tell you, it works so good.
Well, that brings up my little Italian grandmother again, right? Absolutely. When you skip to work, you don't work a day in your life. So what Liz is doing is she's making sure that she's putting people in positions that allow them to skip, so then they don't feel like they're working, they're contributing. And when you have that, you really have a great group.
Absolutely. And I was wondering if you were going to say that exact quote.
I love that
right.
one.
Yeah. Well, let's stay here.
All
first.
of these sound better in Italian than they do in English, but I'm not going to even try to butcher that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's stay here for just a second, because this is important for anybody that's trying to hire people or grow or take risk. When we were a smaller company, let's say we were under 20 agents, it was much harder to take those risks, to hire the next big hire, to hire the Nick, right, back in 2022. It was like, I don't know if we can afford that.
Yeah.
But when you heard his accent, you were like, he's in.
Yes.
And now I look back on it and I say, we could not afford, or
Yeah, we couldn't afford not to hire
We
him.
couldn't afford not to hire him, and look what that's done. Now he runs a team of 3+ people plus VAs plus, and so my point is that as we've scaled, it becomes easier to take risks because number one, we've done it more often.
Correct.
Now we have more people to help with it, and what we essentially do now is we see the vision of where we're going, and we know the numbers really, really well. That's another key, right? And you guys can make fun of me. You guys can make fun of me for my high C anytime you want. But I'll tell you what, I can see where the business is going in real time.
Correct.
And it makes it easier for us to go out and hire that next person ahead of time before we actually need them.
Correct.
So I'm actually always looking for that next great hire.
Yeah.
I'm setting appointments on my calendar right now, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
With the next big hire that we're going to make, just like the next big agent, just like the next big team, because we now are in that position to do it.
Yeah.
But you have to be incredibly risk.
I was going to say, but you had to be willing to take the risk.
Yeah, and where that came from was, perhaps I was the son of a real estate agent. Just maybe the solopreneur was just in my blood. But then, the golf career.
I would imagine
the level of which I played, the number of times, and this is in the tens of thousands of golf shots that I looked at, and I said, hey, I can hit it to the right side of the green, or I can hit it to the left. And if I hit it to the right, I probably have a 40% chance that I'm going to hit it in the bunker or the water. But I'm going to take on that risk, because the worst thing that can happen is I'm going to be in the bunker and I'm going to have probably a 50% chance to get up and down. So I'm playing those ratios for 27 years of my life. And that led me into, well, okay, if you hit a bad shot, you just go and hit the next one.
Yeah.
And even if you have a bad day, you go to bed at night, you wake up, you have a fresh, brand new round that you can go and have an amazing day. So like I have this mindset where no matter what happens, every day is a new day and every opportunity is one that's either going to succeed or fail. And
Well, that's the old Wayne Gretzky, right? Am I saying that correctly? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
yep.
And
Yep.
I remember when I first started in real estate, that was like on a sticky note. Parker loves sticky notes.
Yep, I do. That's the Parker
on my
system,
first
by the way.
computer,
Yes, it is.
first computer that I ever had. I think it was a ThinkPad, if anyone remembers those IBM ThinkPads.
That's amazing.
And that sticker was there. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
I want to go back to what Nick said for just a second, because part of what he's talking about is taking risks, but part of it is also the delegation and the process of that, and then allowing someone to just take ownership of what it is
Yes.
that they're contributing, and that's
Giving them permission, I think, is the key.
absolutely, and that's
Yes.
something that Parker has always made a priority of, I think, and that willingness to take risks, I think, has helped us. But I think it's also a good parallel to agents being able to delegate some things. And we've been talking at company meetings right now about leverage. And as we head into the busy season, like being willing to trust somebody else with some of those tasks so that you can leverage your own time. Yeah.
And those tasks that you give them the option to have, right? I mean, they've got LCTC, right, where they no longer have to do all of those things.
Yeah.
And obviously we have the marketing that allows them to not have to do those things. You pull all of those things out, and then all of a sudden they can be top producers, right? Could you imagine a life when, I can imagine it because I lived it, but when you had to do all those things yourself?
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, Pemberton Media is one.
Yeah.
The videography department, the coaching department, all of the services that we have internally differentiate us from the other brokerages that we compete against. It's actually our superpower because
agree.
because it gives us a huge significant edge financially over the competition too. But that all started from taking risk, trying to create more value for agents.
Yeah.
So when you
Well, it
create
goes back to your initial mission, right?
Right.
That is your mission. Yeah.
Yeah, and the agents now look at that, and we failed so many times trying to develop those. I mean, it's taken 8 years to develop all of these different departments, but now that we've done it and we didn't quit,
Yes.
now we're in such a power position from a brokerage standpoint that, yeah, I mean, it's harder to turn the Titanic of your 900-person brokerage
1,000%.
and say, hey, we're going to create a video department
100-year-olds, yeah, trust me.
than it is to, be tweaking the speedboat along the way. And that's
Exactly.
what we've done. And one of the visions that I have for the future is, and I don't know if we've talked about this.
Oh,
this
no.
Here we go.
I'm
again.
terrified.
This
Here
might
we
freak,
go
This
again.
might freak you out. But I just
Batman. No, go ahead.
successfully did this for one of our top agents. I think one of the biggest problems that we have in the industry is agents. They don't know how to leverage, right? They don't know how to hire people, manage
Yes.
people. They don't know the structure. They don't know where to find them. We're going to create, and we are creating, and we are currently succeeding. We're going to hire top producers, assistants. We're going to run. We're going to run it. We're going to pay for it, and we're going to put those people in place so that agents can join us and have assistants in place.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's even go to the team effort right now that we're an independent brokerage. The amount of teams that I've witnessed implode because of exactly that, right? Because they're great agents.
Yeah.
They may be great leaders, but hiring, firing, training from a staffing standpoint is really an art that they may not know. And if they don't know that, to be able to plug into someone who says, don't worry, we got this for you. It's huge.
Put
It's
it on
huge.
the record for March 11th that we talked about this.
Did you hear the way you announced it? You're like, we're going to do that. I mean, we are doing it. I mean, we're doing
Doing
it
it. Did
successfully.
you see that?
Well, you know what happened was
I know.
I had an agent reach out to me who fell into some hard times,
Yeah.
and she has good skills, and she's a great person. And I said, look, because you can't be out physically showing homes or listing homes yourself right now, doesn't mean you should leave it, real estate. I know a top producer that's moving 1,000,000 miles per hour that I think we can put you in touch with her and partner with her to assist her on the back end until your life changes.
Correct.
Because otherwise you have to leave the industry and that dream dies.
Exactly.
And so just the thought of that, by the way, it could have failed miserably, and it hasn't. But we're not afraid to say that. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's sit down. Let's interview here for this because this person needs this. And then the light bulb clicks. Why do teams not grow? They don't grow because they they can't hire people, scale people, and hold them accountable at a high level. And when they fail the first time,
especially if they're still producing.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And when they fail the first time, they give up.
Correct. Yeah.
How many people have you talked to throughout your journey?
Too many.
I tried that.
Yeah.
I hired that VA. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'm not a good leader. I can't run people. I don't have an assistant.
Yeah.
Well, the second
Or
you
I
know,
don't, or I hired them and 3 months later they quit. Well, why did they quit? Well, because they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. Well, you failed to lead them, right? If you don't give them the this is what you need to do, or this is what your expectation is, or there's no clear expectation, you hire them and then next thing you know, you have them doing something completely different, and they're like, "Wait a minute, that's not what I was here for." Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think
So-
all of these different departments that we've developed, including this new one that you've announced today,
Yes.
I think all reflect, skills and processes that we really figured out when we were much, much smaller and we were doing the transaction coordination, and then said, okay, well, we can scale this because we know what this process needs to look like, and we
Correct.
know how to do it efficiently. And the same thing within marketing and within coaching. I mean, all of these things, it's like transferring a set of skills that we identified and processes we identified and said, okay, let's do this at scale because we know it's valuable to agents.
Well, you guys tell me. Do you think somebody that's doing 30 plus sales, let's say 10 to 20 million, 20 to 40 million, 50 million, would find value in trading 5 or 10% of their commission for a full-time trained assistant that's already put in place for them?
1,000%. I think 1,000%.
And if that person doesn't work out, the company will refresh that person and find them a new one?
Yeah.
Because at this point, Liz, 47 employees internally, how many people have you or one of your leaders interviewed?
Right.
Hundreds, right?
Yeah.
How many times have we put job ads out there? How many times have we tweaked job ads? Hundreds.
Right.
Like, we know this process. And then on the VA side, we have over a dozen VAs working throughout this company. So we have the ability to source and place VAs into agents' lives to help them create leverage. Then we also have the
VAs
ability.
that you've trained on your systems and processes,
Correct.
which again is for an agent huge. I'm going to hire a VA,
And then teach them real estate.
right? Or I don't even use the systems that I currently have. So I'm going to hire a VA to help me. But if the VA doesn't even understand the systems you're using, I don't care how expensive or inexpensive it is, throw the money out the window, right?
Right.
Whereas you take that off of their hands.
And that's why VAs don't work out with a lot of people,
I
because
agree.
they don't have
It's not the VA's fault.
No.
not a hiring problem. It's
Never.
actually a training and
Training
leadership
problem.
problem.
I agree.
So the 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million producer has the same 24 hours in the day as I do, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
But there's a reason we do 1.2 billion in sales with the same amount of time, because
And
we
it doesn't
figured
even have
that
to
out.
be that big of a producer. It could be a producer whose goal for the next year is to reclaim their life. Maybe they want to, reclaim time with their family or so on and so forth. The next step is an assistant, right? So even if they're giving up whatever percentage in order to have that, if their goal is to reclaim time, they don't even have to be a top mega producer in order to have an assistant. The first hire I ever made was an assistant. It was the best thing I ever did. And I could never live without one now.
And most agents will tell you, I just don't have enough time in the day to do that.
Correct.
Or I'm pulling my hair out. I had to miss the hockey practice. I had to miss the dance recital.
Exactly.
I'm at every event. Liz is at every single event for her kids. So what I'm saying is we have value there. We've navigated those trenches and figured that out, that I think we can provide that to the marketplace and significantly help people create scale or create growth by solving those problems.
Yeah.
So I know I'm freaking you the F out right now, Liz, but
Do I look for your
all
cat?
right.
Come
It's all
on.
right.
and imagine if we
face.
figure it out.
Your
know-
face with that first sentence he said, it was the, oh no.
What
What's
is it
this gonna
now?
be?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
That was
where are we
fine.
going now?
Parker always
That
says
was
this to me that I don't hide my reactions to things very well. So he's
Yeah,
always
that's
like,
good,
You
though.
got to do a better job of have
No.
a better poker
No,
face. I'm like,
you
I
keep
can't.
being you.
I
Are you
can't
kidding
do
me?
it.
I literally was born with a built-in bitch face. Like, are you kidding me? My kids all have it. Like you look, everyone thinks I'm mad, but I'm not. Yeah. Okay, so let's be realistic.
Okay, fine.
But Emily, from all of your experience, be totally honest with me here. Has anybody offered that at a brokerage level that you know of?
I do have one that I know of that does. Yes.
Then I need to get in touch with
Yeah,
that person.
absolutely. I'll have to connect you with them. Absolutely.
I love that. I think it can be done. And I think that
I know it can be done.
Yeah. Okay, so look forward for us where, things that are heading our way in the next year. What are the biggest mistakes that we need to avoid as we continue to grow?
That's a great question. I would think that change is good, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes I'm going to have to get you, having spent a couple days with Parker in person, I think I'm going to have to get you a little lasso, right? So I think that it's, I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a great thing, but let's make sure we have a system and a process before we start running.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there
walk
because
before we run, like your little guy yesterday, adorable, right? Absolutely adorable. And when he first walked out of the office, and then he realized that he was missing what was he missing? His jelly something.
Yeah,
his little things.
yeah, his fruit snacks.
Well, that's all he eats. That
And
milk.
then so he walks calmly out of the office, and I could see his little feet, his little boots, his little Uggs. And then all of a sudden, he turns around and he runs back into the office to get them, right? So
Yeah.
I would say walk before we run.
Walk
right?
before we run.
That would
I
be
have
really
staff
important.
members texting me right now based on what you just said. They're
Great.
like, Liz, I'm freaking out a little bit.
Exactly. So
Well, when
Okay,
we when
but
we
so yes,
succeed, we all succeed together, and everyone
correct.
gets
I
paid
yes,
more.
walk
We
before
do,
you
but
run.
we're going to walk before we run. You hear that?
Walk before
She's
you
getting
run.
me a
I'm getting
lasso, she says.
And the
Develop more
second thing
leaders.
is absolutely right. Develop more leaders. And the third thing is enjoy the ride. Right. There's so many times that I see people or I work with people that are doing such great things and they're not enjoying the ride. And I think that's really important because you've done really great things.
Yeah.
Right. And the key is keep enjoying that ride.
Yeah.
Those would be my three things.
All great advice.
I like those.
And we know what we're currently working on is going to require us to slow down. And by the way, Liz, I told Emily in the car, I'm willing to give it 6 weeks.
I was like 6 months, and he's like,
No.
I think we could do that in 6 weeks. I'm like,
I think 6 weeks we're off and running. We're in summer in Minnesota.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, we'll have 500, 600 pending at that time. We'll be opening up 4 or 5 more offices.
Okay. Then we can do the next thing.
yeah.
But with the
But he
one
already
thing,
has it in his mind
Of
as to
course
what
he
that
does, I
next
know.
thing is.
Yeah.
Do you sleep? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
No, the thing that you said is really important, which is enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Because there has been years of my life where like 3-4 years will go by and I'll look back and I'll be like, other than family and work, I did nothing else.
Yeah.
And I'm the first to admit that. But I do prioritize family first. So I'm not going to take a day and go golf for 6 hours if it's going to overlap, Harrison's football practice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not unreasonable to say. Some people will, but I just won't. But you do have, at a certain point, the money is just money. A couple of years ago, it was.
It's hard to say it, but it's the truth.
It's
right?
less
Yeah.
about the money. It's more about
how you get there.
the journey. I mean, and then the wins you get to share with people when you accomplish things. It's like playing on a Super Bowl winning team and standing on the podium together, and and we get little flashes of that throughout the year.
Yeah.
Whether it's our holiday party where we get to see everybody together, or it's standing room only meeting on a Tuesday, or some made up award that you get on a Friday night.
Now that wasn't made up, Parker.
I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I was going for a bite.
That was not made up, Parker.
I mean,
We were very, very proud of you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
but
And you were humbled despite the fact that you're giggling about it now.
Yes.
yeah, but you know what though? I will tell all agents who are listening to this: if you go all in for 5 years, just devote your entire life for 5 years to this business. After that, you have so many more options, and you have so much more time and freedom, and it's just most people aren't willing to go all in for 5 years.
Okay, this is great because that is a great segue to the question I'd like to ask both of you, actually. If an agent came to you and said, I've been in the business, I'm going to say 3 years. I've been in the business for 3 years and I'm still struggling. What is the first hard question that you'd ask them to get them to self-discover?
Go ahead.
Well, the first would be like I would tell a seller, which is tell me more about that.
Yeah, share with me a little bit more about
Yeah.
it. But
Tell
then
me
what's the
where
next
are
question?
we struggling?
Yeah.
Are we struggling with time? Are we struggling with business, with money? Whatever it is, you can lay out a game plan for that. But
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's asking better questions, right? Share with me a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then reviewing what business they did do.
Yeah.
What were the lead sources of that business? But more importantly, which ones did they enjoy?
Yeah.
Right? So you're struggling. Why are you struggling? Of the stuff that didn't make you struggle, what's the ones that you most enjoyed? Are you leaning into that source 110%?
Yeah.
And then being able to do others, right? Or that avatar of a consumer, right?
Yeah.
Because my dad always said health, wealth, happiness, but what's most important is the time to enjoy, right? So if they're struggling, what are they enjoying? What are they not enjoying? And how do we do more of what they're enjoying?
yeah, that's great advice. I always come back to something I learned in golf, which my college coach at New Mexico said, if you're struggling, the answers are in the dirt.
Yeah.
And what that means in golf, if you're hitting bad golf shots, you need to go to the range and you need to hit more balls. You need to have more activity because you will figure it out.
You'll be able to tweak. And sometimes, my husband's a golfer, so sometimes, and I'm a horrible golfer, but a really good putter. In case anyone ever needs to play best ball, I'm the putter.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. But the tiniest little tweak, right? And that's why he said it. Because you do enough of it, you realize what the tiniest little tweak is that you need to make. And then all of a sudden it becomes successful and simple and easy and natural.
Yeah, and I recently had this around the turn of the year. One of our top producers, David Gutierrez, also I think Agent of the Year and Collaborator of the Year and somebody that everybody values. You look at him and he's very successful personally and professionally. And he calls me. He's on a trip with his family, and he's like, I'm really slow. I haven't felt this way in a long time. It was like January 2nd. I was like, David, first of all, enjoy your trip. Like you deserve it. You've worked really hard. So focus where you are right now.
Yes.
Enjoy your trip with your family. But when you get back, I want you to connect with 10 people per day just in that first week.
Yeah.
And after each day, after you have conversations with 10 of your past clients, call me and tell me how it goes. The first time he texts me and he goes, I got 2 referrals from it.
Exactly. It's the
I
simple
go,
habits.
Weird.
Simple habit. Yep.
Yeah. So
But simple habit that you forget about when you get busy.
correct.
Yeah.
So the answers are in the dirt, which is essentially, it means
Their
if you,
database, that is the dirt.
you just need to get back to work.
Exactly.
Activity creates motion. Motion creates energy. And that's how you get momentum.
Momentum, exactly.
The opposite is also true. If you just don't do those things, you're going to feel slow. And David went on, finished that week, and David will call me if he feels that way again, and I'll probably tell him the same thing.
Yeah.
And sorry, David, for calling you out on there.
That's all right.
No, David, I think I'll appreciate that. Okay, we're getting towards the end here, so tell me just generally, favorite piece of real estate advice to give to people or that you've ever received?
Man, Liz.
I don't know.
Favorite. I have so many of them.
I know.
I have so many pieces of
Wait, but I'm
favorite
sorry.
real estate
You can think
advice.
about that, but I have to ask this. Your little Italian grandmother.
Yes.
What is the source of all of her wisdom? I mean, was she just a wise person? Did she have crazy experiences?
I'm really lucky that I come from a strong line of independent women.
Yes.
Right? So my little Italian grandmother came to the United States as a young girl.
Okay.
Her parents owned a string of bakeries in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And she was, what is the word? Betrothed. She was supposed to marry a nice Italian boy that they were bringing over from Italy.
Oh, wow.
And she fell in love with my grandfather, who was a Spanish baker who came over to this country very poor.
Oh my gosh.
And she fell in love with him and ran off and married him.
Okay.
And came home and put her hand on her hip and said to her parents, I married Jose. So if you don't like that I married Jose, then we'll just move to the country. And her parents were like, right? But she was the only girl with a bunch of boys. And so a month later, they had this huge wedding that we have fabulous photos of with a gazillion bridesmaids and groomsmaids and so on and so forth, and pretended that they had not gotten married. So as you can imagine, she was just a very strong-willed woman. They retired, which is probably why I've retired so many times, because my grandmother retired when she was 50. My mom retired when she was 50. My first retirement was when I was 49 because I had to beat the both of them. But just a strong-willed strong-willed woman who had life knowledge, right? So I was
Amazing.
really blessed on that. Both sides of the family, but really blessed on that side of the family.
Those are my favorite Emily stories when you
Yeah.
tell us things that you
Yeah,
grew up
and
with.
she was little, like 4. She wasn't even 5 foot.
Really?
She was just a little powerhouse.
Okay, now I'm coming back to my original
Okay.
question. Favorite piece of advice to give or that you have received?
It's all about them, not about you.
Yeah.
No matter what level you're on, whether you're an agent, whether you're a manager, whether you're a leader, whether you're a loan officer, whether you're answering company, whatever it is, it's about them, not about you.
Yeah, I love that.
How about you? What was yours?
Ooh.
I said it the other night, but it's you have to lead yourself before you lead others.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and one that I heard recently was anxiety is just worrying about something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I think a lot of agents get anxiety about things that just in this business, and if you can put yourself back into the present and realize that you're just worrying about something that hasn't happened yet,
Correct.
there's no reason to actually worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually is advice that I think about all the time for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Another one would be Mel Robbins, right? I love when Mel Robbins says, always be present where your feet are, right? So I
Yes.
look at my feet often.
Yes.
And I really have cute toes, by the way, coincidentally. But that's not why I look at my feet, right? I look at my feet because I'm like, make sure I'm present. Make sure I'm absolutely present where my feet are.
We practice that here, and a downside to that is a lot of times I'm driving home. Maybe you can relate, Liz. And I'm like, my head is spinning. I'm like, what the fuck did we even do today? Because I was so into the one thing that I was doing, and then we did like 8 of them.
Right.
You're like, wow. But I remind myself that whenever you feel that way, it means you did a lot of great stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
love
And
it.
if you were present in each one of them, then there was success in each one of them.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And I caught myself early on throwing Harrison or Charlie in the pool, thinking about real estate or thinking about an agent problem or a staff problem. And I'm like throwing them up in the air, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm obsessed with the business and this lifestyle, but okay, take yourself out of it. When you dry yourself off, go back to worrying about those things. But right now, you got to be right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you just kind of catch yourself doing it and adjust, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I really thought that was going to be a reference to pay attention to where your feet are when you're driving, so that you're actually paying attention to the driving and not to the phone call that you're having, wherein you rear end someone while you're talking to Parker on the phone.
No,
It's fine.
my car drives itself.
I was
so
gonna
just-
say,
Yeah, I'm
you
talking
need to
about
have-
my car.
You need to have the car that drives itself, right? So
Apparently
yes,
I do,
we need
yes.
An upgrade. We need an upgrade for Liz.
I'm
Add that
firing
to
all
the
the
list.
texts back because I am on Do Not Disturb all day. So I'm just.
Or we need Liz to have a driver. It's all
There
either
you
way it
go.
goes. Yeah.
Liz needs a driver. Let's
Yeah.
go with that. All right. That is it for today's episode of No Contingencies. If you got value from this conversation, take a second to share it with another agent who's serious about growing in this market. If you're looking for a brokerage that's forward-thinking, accountability-driven, and built for the next chapter of real estate, we should talk. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Oh, good applause.